Have you ever had a job where you felt like you were doing something all the time, but still somehow had no idea if you were actually doing the right thing? Welcome to Thrive with Dr. Liz, where we hack the spaces around us to unlock success. Let's dive in. So here's the thing. Most people don't fail because they're not talented enough. They don't burn out because they're not trying hard enough. And they don't disengage because they don't care enough. Most of the time, they're drowning in uncertainty. They're working hard in the wrong direction, or they're stuck, frozen, waiting for the right information to make a move. Information that never actually comes. And that's because of something we don't talk about nearly enough when it comes to performance and productivity and success, and that's shared clarity. The single biggest productivity killer, it's not laziness, it's not a lack of discipline, it's ambiguity. When people don't know exactly what's expected of them, what success looks like, or how their work fits into the bigger picture, they waste a ridiculous amount of time and energy trying to figure things out instead of actually making progress. And I genuinely see this everywhere. People think that they have a motivation problem when really they have a clarity problem. Leaders think they have a talent problem when really they have a communication problem. And businesses think they have an engagement problem when really they have a direction problem. This isn't just an inconvenience. It's a huge measurable drain on performance. In behavioral science, we know that the brain craves certainty. It's wired for it. When we're clear on what's expected of us, we move faster. We make decisions more confidently. We actually enjoy our work more because we can see how what we're doing connects to an outcome. But when things are vague, when the goals keep shifting, when success is a moving target, that uncertainty creates stress. It triggers our brain's threat response. And instead of being able to focus, we start second-guessing ourselves. We overthink. We hesitate, we hold back, and over time, that hesitation turns into exhaustion. I once worked with a company that was struggling with massive employee burnout. People were working late, answering emails at all hours, and constantly on edge. And leadership assumed that the issue was workload, that people just had too much on their plates. But when I dug deeper, the real issue wasn't the amount of work, it was the lack of clarity around priorities. Employees didn't actually know what mattered most, so they treated everything like it was urgent. And when everything feels urgent, nothing really gets done well. So I asked a simple question: what does winning look like here? Now that question is not going to work for every organization, but you know what happened? The leadership couldn't answer. Not clearly anyway, not in a way that everyone on the team would agree with. And that's when it clicked for them. It wasn't a talent issue. It wasn't an engagement issue. It wasn't even a time management issue. It was a clarity issue. People weren't overworking because they had too much to do. They were overworking because they didn't know what not to do. And that's what happens when leaders assume that clarity exists instead of creating it. This is what I call assumed clarity versus created clarity. Assumed clarity is what happens when leaders think they've been clear just because they said something once or because it makes sense in their own heads. Created clarity is when expectations are explicit, repeatable, and universally understood. When people know exactly what's expected, how success is measured, and where to focus their energy. And here's the key. Clarity is not a one-time memo. No, it's not. It's a continuous process. If you're a leader, manager, or business owner, you need to ask yourself, do your employees know exactly what success looks like in their role? If you ask 10 people on your team what the top 3 priorities are, would they actually give you the same answer? And when a tough decision comes up, does your team know how to make the call without always coming to you for guidance? Because if not, you don't have clarity. You have assumed clarity. And if you're an individual contributor, if you work for someone else, ask yourself, do you know exactly what results you're being measured on? Do you feel like you have a clear roadmap for what great looks like in your role? Or do you spend a lot of time guessing and waiting for more information or wondering if you're even working on the right thing? If there's too much guessing, too much waiting, too much, I think this is right, but I'm not sure, then clarity is missing. And if you don't fix it, well, what happens? People either freeze up and do nothing, or they try to do everything and burn themselves out. So how do you cut through the confusion? Here's a simple question that works every single time. What does success look like? If you're in a meeting and things feel vague, ask, what does success look like here? If your boss gives you a broad, unclear request, ask, just so we're aligned, what does success look like? If your team is all over the place working on different things, bring them together and ask, what does success look like this week, this month, this quarter? Because when people can answer that question clearly, when they know exactly what success looks like, what's expected and what's most important, everything else tends to fall into place. Priorities become obvious, decisions get easier, and people stop wasting their energy second-guessing themselves. So take a look at your own space, whether you're leading a team or trying to improve your own performance. Clarity is the game changer most people overlook. Are you assuming clarity, or are you actively creating it? Because when you get clear on that, everything gets easier. And if you're wondering how to take that clarity and turn it into real momentum, well, we've still got a lot more to talk about.